Welcome to the Here and Now Show. I'm your host, Lavonda Ray. And if you tuned into my show before, you know that the Here and Now Show is coming from the Midwest, where we come show in, and show out. Gotta love your city. Hello, somebody. And if you tune into the Here and Now Show, you know that the Here and Now Show is a show where I took real life events and turned them into a positive living. So if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to leave them in the message box because all voices matter. So with that being said, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back. I feel blessed, and you should feel blessed too. I hope all of you guys had a good early start. I hope Monday was good. I hope your weekend was good. I love it. I'm glad that you guys keep going. You keep showing up. You know, it's Tuesday, and today we're just gonna kind of vibe. It's really no topic today, so I'm just kind of going, telling stories here and there. And if you have any questions, feel free. And if this is your first time, welcome to the family. Sometimes on here we laugh. We smile. We don't judge. And we tell the truth because sometimes we got to celebrate ourselves. You got to celebrate yourself, meaning maybe some of us is celebrating a promotion. Congratulations. Or maybe some of us is celebrating the fact that we've struggled through depression and we're still showing up. Hello, Faith. Or maybe you done left a toxic relationship. Good job. Keep going. Or, maybe you're like me and celebrating the fact that you are finally about to fold those clothes that has been sitting in the corner for the last 3 weeks. Hello, somebody. Celebrate that, celebrate. Because listen, a win is a win. Celebrate if you've forgiven yourself. Celebrate if you started over. And that starting over doesn't mean you started from scratch. Celebrate if you cried and still showed up. Celebrate my beautiful souls because no one knows the fight that you had to do to get up here and smile today. So I say that that is wonderful and you are blessed for even doing that. So grab your snack. If you like your evening coffee, grab that, grab your tea. Or if you like me, just grab a snack to get you through the moment. So, if you guys know me, I like to vibe with a little sorry, my voice, with a little jazz music to kind of set the mood, set the stage, set the moment. And as you can tell, I'm streaming from home. I love it when I stream from home. It just feels a little different from streaming from the library. So we're gonna play a little jazz before I dive into it. Um, and like I said, today's no topic. It's just I'm gonna ask questions. We're gonna laugh and we're gonna vibe. So let's jazz for a few moments before we get into it. Mm, what's going on? Welcome back. We are back. Hi, how are you doing? I'm glad to have you. So, like I said, today is just particularly no topic. I'm just going to be asking questions, and at any time if you feel like answering it, feel free. So, the first question that was asked is when was the last time you actually celebrated yourself? And I don't mean your birthday, I don't mean Christmas. I mean, actually, just like celebrated you. Like for me, if I was to answer that question, I would say I celebrate myself whenever I buy a new outfit or, if I'm trying something new in my life, a new path, I celebrate, hello, how are you doing? Glad to have you. So, and you guys feel free, if you want to tell me the last time you celebrated yourself, I love to hear it. Because let me clear the air, when you are, when I say celebrate yourself, I don't mean like a great big party, even though that's a beautiful thing if you could do it, but it's a celebration within yourself. It is you saying, like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm going to tap myself on the shoulder. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, we tend to wait for other people to clap for us. And we don't want that because while you're waiting for other people to clap, there are other people watching you like the whole time. God's been clapping for you the whole time that you've been out here. He's just there. I'm clapping. I got you. That's what God does. And at the same as your children, they watch you. They see your growth. Your growth shows, as your celebration is being showed. I remember, and you don't have to celebrate yourself before the world notice. Celebrate you, celebrate your goals before the world even has to celebrate it. You don't have to wait for your goals to celebrate yourself. Um, a funny random story. Um, I remember when I was younger. Yes, I was younger. And you remember, when you were younger, how you could run outside with one sock on and your hair looking a hot mess. Um, you know, drinking from the water hose, or eating dirt by accident. Accident drops on the floor. Like you had no worries, and like life was easy. And then you grow up, right? Then you grow up, boom, just that fast, and now you're paying bills and your back's hurting. You're dealing with relationships. Oh, you grew up so fast. But the thing is, life can be very disrespectful. Growing up, oh my gosh, it's so disrespectful because you're growing, you're learning, but it also can be fun. So if you follow the path, and I don't want to say follow because we don't want to follow people in life. You want to be the head and not the tail. I repeat, you always want to be the head of your things and not the tail. So I don't necessarily say if you follow the right path, but if you walk the right path, then life could be grand. Life teaches us. Um, well, I don't, so we're not worried about your comment on what do you do. No judgment, but whether I have a deep voice or a high pitched voice, I do not do that. So you can have your opinion. God bless you. I remember even though when I was a child growing up, I'm like, oh my God, I wanted to grow up, but then you realize, oh, life be life. Because back then, for me, Saturday morning was literally like getting up and watching Saturday cartoons. They had some of the best Saturday cartoons then, and so my Saturday mornings, and then now it's more like, oh, my Saturday mornings is cleaning up, washing the dishes, trying to figure out why groceries have just cost me half of my entire check. It's just crazy like that. But life be hurting. But life, is about growing, and growing hurts. Standing still also hurts. You stand still too long. Oh my God, that hurts. But there's those two words, only one here, and I'm going to keep trying because I'm going to stay here. That's what the growing says. I'm learning and I'm doing better. But if you're standing still, all that standing still says, yes, I'm comfortable, but standing still or being comfortable does not build your dreams. What builds your dream is being consistent. So another random question, and it's me in the picture, Joey. My hair is different, but are we throwing shots because you can't move me? Okay, so next question. What is one of the childish things that you still do to this day? Hey, oh my gosh, one of the childish things I would say that I still do. I wouldn't necessarily say it's childish, but one of the younger things that I do, and I wouldn't even say that, but that's just what the question is I still eat cereal at midnight. Oh my gosh, I love me some Captain Crunch. Don't judge. Captain Crunch. Oh my God, it hit different after 10 o'clock at night. It really does. So another question was, if money wasn't an issue, what's something you could buy or you would buy? For me, if money wasn't an issue, I would buy. I wish I could buy peace. If someone be like, you know what, I can give you all this peace for this amount of money, you got me sold. And then a beach house. And then, of course, my crab legs, because I love crab legs. And you know that if you listen to my show. I just have layers and layers of crab legs because I be at the beach, in the beach house, by a beach. Hello. And then some people say, okay, the next question was, and why do, oh, this was a question, but I have to kind of tell a story. The question was, have you ever go into a store and you say, listen, I'm not going to buy anything else. I'm just coming in here to look. I'm just literally coming to see what kind of sales they got so I can come back. And then you come out the store and you done bought candles, a blanket, a plant, and somehow a coffee cup that you really didn't need. Because I tell you, Walmart wins every time. Every time it gets me. Or another random question. Have you ever told someone you was on the way while you were still in the shower? And you're like, yeah, I'm on the way, and you're still in the shower. Oh my God, I do that so much. Or, and so there was another question. This says for the men. It says, men, if your wife or your girlfriend says, I'm fine, what's your next move? Well, I don't know, but my question to you guys would be your next move would be ask again because I'm fine, believe it or not, has about 17 different meanings. So I would tell you to ask again, because, like I said, I'm fine could have 1,010 different meanings, and it has like a million different tones. So I would ask again, you know. I remember another quick story. I just be having all these stories, and then I keep my notes because I'm like thinking of stories I could tell you guys, and I like I'm gonna write it down in my notes so I can remember. I remember when I was younger, and we had like one television in the house, and we had another television. It was my parents' room, but we couldn't go in there. So if my mom and dad said, "Hey, they're gonna watch one show," guess what? How you doing? That's the one show that we watched. But now I look and I'm like, gosh, these kids, they have so much. They got what they got video games, they got the tablets, they got phones, they got laptops, and they still manage to say they're bored. I'm like, boy, if you don't take your ass outside and play with a stick and go outside, and they're like, play with it. Like, what am I gonna do with a stick, boy? When I was younger, we could do a lot with a stick and an imagination. Like you could be making a fishing pole, it could be a sword, it could be a bat. There was just so many things that you could do with that. It's just crazy, how do you utilize your time differently, or how you have things that are in front of you, and there's so much other things that are in front of you that you actually don't see. You see them, but you pay them no attention. Never realize what you can just use with your imagination. Another question was, what's the one lesson adulthood taught you? Ooh, one lesson adulthood taught me was that one, nobody's gonna come and save you, but there will be plenty, plenty of people who will come cheer for you as long as you keep showing up. You keep showing up, you keep doing your thing. Hey, people will show up too, not show up. And then the other question was, if the younger if the younger self met you today as the older self, would they be proud of you? Well, if I answer that, I would say completely my younger self would be proud of my adult self, because they would say, guess what? She never stopped. She never quit. She kept going. She kept praying. She kept developing. She kept evolving. Because sometimes while we're sleeping, all the times while we're sleeping and worried, not sometimes, but anytime that you're sleeping and you're worried, guess what? You don't have to, because God takes all those worries, and He doesn't want you to worry in the middle of the night. He wants you to sleep at peace. So don't quit whatever you're doing. Celebrate that you paid your bills. Hello, somebody, that you started therapy, or maybe that you celebrate that you walked away from drama, or maybe you celebrate being rejected and you still stowed up, or maybe you know uh, you celebrate. Yes, I do remember you actually. And how are you doing? I do actually remember you, because we had a great conversation about the chocolate chips and the ice cream. I do remember how are you doing, and I am so glad you're here. I love you, and I'm glad that you are part of today. And like I said, today, my friend, we're just talking. So if there's something that you want to say, you can say it. If you want to tell a story, if you can relate, or you want to type an answer, you can definitely do that, because it's really about you guys today. A lot of times I have topics that deals with self motivation and self love, and we still stay on that. We still stand on business with that. But sometimes we want to have a little fun and still remind ourselves that we are special. So I am so glad that you are here. Okay, thank you for being here. So here's another question for you viewers. Do you prefer coffee or tea? Me, I prefer tea. I would take coffee if it's free, right? If it's free, give me the coffee, right? Like if I'm going somewhere, like at a convention or a function or somewhere, and there's like free coffee there, I'm gonna drink it, right? Especially if it's cold outside. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? Okay, no. Especially if it's cold outside. And then the other one, what was the one food that you would never give up? Well, if you guys know me, the one food that I love and I said I would never give up would be crab legs. Oh my God, I love them. So, feel free to answer that. That's one food that you was like, you know what? I can have it for life. I will never give it up. Another question was, who's the funniest person in your family? Mm, I would almost say myself, but I don't know what my family would say. I think that I'm the funniest person in my family. You like both, right on. And then the other question was, what is your biggest pet peeve? Oh, okay, no judgment. This is just something I don't like, and like get under my skin. If you don't know what a pet peeve is, it's something that makes your skin crawl. Like maybe I know pizza, and there's so many ways to make pizza. And what's your biggest pet peeve? Like a pet peeve is, like I said, something that you don't like that gets under your skin. You see someone do it, and you're just like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Some people's pet peeve is people that smoke cigarettes. Oh, they don't like it. That's a pet peeve. My pet peeve is people who eat and sweat at the same time. It's like, oh my God, slow down. The food's not going anywhere. Just slow down. That's just me. Do you have a pet peeve? Feel free to leave your comment. So, and this is another question. Please, can someone tell me when did school come back so fast? I just feel like, the kids were just out of school and they were just saying, hey, welcome to the summer. And now it's like, nope, now you're walking in the stores. Now you're seeing backpacks and crayons and pencils and lunch bags. And I remember that, going back to school, it was great for me. But, now I get the beautiful people that vape. What about people that vape? Oh, your biggest pet peeve. I know that's like a cigarette. Yeah, I don't like that either. But that's a good one. Because that's crazy because it's literally like smoking a cigarette. It just doesn't stink, right? Because it's supposed to vape into the air. Because I guess like cigarette smoke sticks to the wall or sticks to the area and it lingers, versus a vape. So I understand that. Yeah, so now, me being a grandmother, I get to watch my grandchildren, get off of the bus and grow up and, you know, listen, because I've survived with my three children. I have three daughters who are grown now. So I survived, waking up early in the morning, the alarm clocks, missing a shoe here, missing a shoe there. Ooh, yes, well, right, but some people, they need it. Some people, that's what they do. They need them. They like them. Everyday thing, but it's not a very good habit. It's actually a very nasty habit. So yeah, I was like, where did school go? But that was crazy. So parents, as well as myself, now the kids are starting school, they get to meet their teachers. And we got to remember to be kind of nice, not kind of, but kind of, the teachers are just not learn teaching them math, English. They are actually have to be with those kids half the day and have to be asked to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could be a teacher. You have to be built for that. So I salute all the teachers because you got to be built for that. Like I have three beautiful girls, and I love them to death. But I couldn't imagine waking up at 8:30 in the morning and have like 20 or 30 kids staring at me, asking me this and asking me that. Gosh, so salute to your teachers and you students. Give the teachers a break sometimes. Like if your child's messing up, teach your child accountability. And all these things essentially start from home. And then they go to school and practice those same habits because if you're taught at home, if I broke this dish and then I blamed it on my little sister, but I know I broke it, and then clearly you get caught. You need to take accountability, and accountability goes all through life. That's not just a one stop shop thing, because there are a lot of you're going into the fifth grade. It is hard, but I was wondering, and summer schools. I mean, uh, school's starting again here in August, but I was just like wondering, how did you get on the platform if you're in the fifth grade? But today's a no topic, so I'm glad you're here. But yes, I'm sure fifth grade is can be hard. You got to get your new backpacks, your new clothes, and essentially all those things to jumpstart to school, meet new friends, and the new teachers, and so it can be fun and school can be stressful at the same time. I mean, for real. It's hard, it's hard. But, you know, kids go to school and you're there to learn and it can be hard, but it becomes easier, if you find yourself just being around people that are as positive as you appear to be. You seem very positive, and I think it's great. And I think you are a wonderful person. And I hope that this year that you start here in August will be better. Even, you meet more friends. But in general, school is hard. Do you have a favorite subject? Um, you know, so yes. So I understand that so much. So again, like I said today, we're really just vibing, and I want to talk to you guys, and you guys talk to me, and so I have more questions. And if you want to continue to talk, you are more than welcome to. So, and another story I have, like when I was younger. Again, I've been young. Don't judge. But when I was younger, I remember like So it's still last year it was though. So last year was hard for you. So maybe celebrate that this year will be so much better. Like the things that you didn't know last year, this year, right? You're going into a fresh start, right? Because now you know that last year was a little hard, so this year to kind of taking a different path, so it could be a little bit easier, so you can enjoy your schooling and you can enjoy new friends. It's just breathe because I believe in you. I believe that this year be great because you're talking about it. That makes you very strong. You're not afraid to say it was hard for me, but I'm gonna do it again because you're in the fifth grade, so I'm gonna do it again. And this year, maybe you'll meet even better friends and even better teachers. And I'm not saying that was a bad teacher, but we're not always fond of our teachers, but we love them. It's just like the real world. We're not always fond of people we meet, but they're still here, and we still respect them as people. So sometimes you celebrate in small portions. You don't have to celebrate everything. Just the process is a celebration. Celebrate who you are becoming or who you want to be. Because remember, growing up can be uncomfortable. But also standing still can cost you. So, while you're growing, you just keep moving. You keep moving forward. So thank you for sharing that. I think that is a beautiful thing that you shared. Um, because another question is, what's the other question? What is your favorite subject in school? My favorite subject would almost be English. One, I love to write. That's just it. That's it. That's all. I love to write. So English was one of my favorites. And so another random thing is, we talked about school starting so fast, so quick. I hope you guys had a good summer because we're going into the fall, which the fall is great. Which is your favorite season? My favorite season is fall. You know why? Because it's my birthday. That's right. My birthday is in the fall. I am a child that was born in the fall, so that is great. And also I want you to remember anybody that's listening that since I've been on the Here and Now show platform, there are a lot of topics that I cross that, I love it when you guys engage with me. Um, oh, yours is reading. Yeah, reading is a great one too. Do you like to read books? You know, do you have like a room full of books, or do you like going to the library and picking out your favorite book, or even going to a store and buying your favorite book? I have a grandson who's not actually 10; he's actually 8. He will be 9. Um, he would actually be 9 in January, but you just turned 10 on July 18th. Well, happy late birthday. Um, And I'm sure that this is going to be a great year for you. So happy birthday. Did you get a lot of gifts? Did you have a great birthday party? God bless your heart. Um, so as you guys know, that one thing about my show is that right before I get off the air, I like to just let you guys have a moment as my listener here. She taking that moment and she's asking questions, and there's questions here, there's questions there. That's wonderful. Um, but before I get off the air, I always like to, give moment to you guys because again, like I said, today wasn't particularly any topic at all. Because at the end of the day, you matter. How you feel matter, and as long as you keep showing up, you keep believing in yourself. What do you want to be when you grow up? Um, is there something that you really, really want to do? You can do it. You just keep focusing on it, keep healing. And if you're young, keep being that young prayer warrior, keep praying and get plenty of rest. I know getting rest, some people don't like to get rest, but rest is required. It is something that you need. It also helps you grow, live life to the abundance. And again, for you guys also, I'll be back on the air, of course, on Thursday. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, of course. And of course, you guys don't forget to look out for Marshall's Books and More and my book signing event, which will take place on Zoom. if anyone that's listening is interested, feel free to leave your email address. Send me an email and say you want to be part of the book, my book signing event. I'll have my merch there on Zoom, and those things can be purchased too, as well as the books, as well as the merch, and also be having the merchandise for Marshall's book. For the Here and Now podcast. You you want to be an engineer, and you should go for it. I think you'll be good at it. And you like to read, so that reading and being an engineer, all that'll come in handy dandy. And you will be successful, you know? That is a wonderful, wonderful outlook. I think that is great. That is a wonderful goal. And I there's no doubt in my mind that you won't achieve it. So you got it, you're showing up. And all you gotta do is keep showing up. So again, thank you all for tuning in with me. I know that this was kind of one of a faster show, wasn't the longest, but again, today was No Topic Tuesday. So we have those sometimes. So if there's no questions or any comments before I spring off the air, I want to say thank you guys for showing up, showing out. Please like, subscribe, show up next Thursday. I'll have another topic and we're going to just sit back and we're going to enjoy ourselves. I love you. I love you all. Thank you for showing in and showing out.